From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
And it's 5 o'clock here on this Friday. Good morning to you. I'm Lauren Casey.
Lauren, good morning. I'm Rafael Sanchez, and here are your headlines on this October the 16th. Indy is staying put as COVID-19 cases increase statewide. The city's top leaders explain what's driving their decision and what's next.
Thousands of Hoosiers are at risk of being evicted or being foreclosed on. WRTV investigates the challenges landlords and property managers are facing because of this pandemic.
And a story that you have to see, a Hamilton County woman's invention is helping fight the battle against COVID-19. Our Kelsey Anderson shows us her creation and how it can help people stay safe and on the go. Good morning to you on this Friday. To all my friends in Indiana, I have two words. Stay inside.
Oh, well, we did have to leave our house, Rafael, to come to the station here today. And it was pretty chilly out there. So, Todd, a pretty big change from earlier this week.
Yeah, you know, even 24 hours ago, we had temperatures in the 60s before that rain and the cold front arrived yesterday. But it's a whole new ball game out there this morning, and we've been watching these temperatures. And now here's our first reading that is below freezing this morning. Peru, you're down to 31 degrees right now, dropped to 35 in Indianapolis, 30. Get out of the way. Terre Haute, you're actually the winner here at 30 degrees. You're below freezing as well in Bloomington at 34. And we just cleared the skies out a couple hours ago, so these temperatures will continue to drop a couple more degrees here this morning with the clear skies. And sunrise now not until almost 8 o'clock this morning. Freeze warnings posted across all of central Indiana. Frost advisories as you get a little closer to the Ohio River down to the south. And here are the clouds that have finally moved out of the area. They kind of broke apart a little bit yesterday evening after the rain went through. But there is the cold front now, well off to our east. But look at this little band of rain and snow. It's not out of the question. Northern counties, you could get into like a brief little sprinkle here or there. But overall, today's a sun-filled day for us. And despite the really cold start and the frost that'll be out there, we will warm very quickly once the sun does come up. We're looking at 52 degrees by the time we get to the noon hour. Our high temperatures today, Lauren, they'll probably top off in the upper 50s with maybe a couple 60-degree readings in southern locations.
All right, Todd, thanks. Let's take a look at traffic. If you are heading out the door early this morning, this is I-465, a little south of I-74 there on the southeast side of town, where you can see traffic is traveling smoothly. Right now, no major issues to report around the metro area, so that is good news for your commute. It is 5:03 this morning. I want to take you down to Johnson County. Whiteland police are investigating an online sale that took a terrifying turn. Police say that a teen was trying to purchase an item through an online sale when a struggle happened. The suspects were leaving the area when their car hit several objects and stalled. Suspects then took off running. A Good Samaritan attempted to follow the suspects when shots were fired at him. It's not clear right now if anyone was injured.
Lauren, Indiana has set a single-day record for new COVID-19 cases. The State Department of Health reports 1,962 new cases. That brings Indiana's state total to now more than 141,000 cases. 23 more deaths have also been confirmed. 3,632 Hoosiers have died with the virus since this pandemic began. In Marion County, new COVID-19 numbers are lower than other parts of our state, Lauren. Yeah,
but there are no plans to ease those COVID restrictions anytime soon, Rafael. Remember, Marion County is not in the full stage 5 yet with the rest of the state. Mayor Joe Hogg said, and Public Health Director Dr. Virginia Kane announcing that the county will keep the current restrictions in place for the time being. The data shows that Marion County is a 5% positivity rate, which is down from earlier in the year. And while changes aren't being made right now, Dr. Kane says they will watch the data closely over the next 2 weeks to determine if any new restrictions need to be put into place.
It's a balancing act with trying to balance from an economic standpoint our businesses versus significant risk to our community where we lose ground in terms of what we're doing. And so we are not going to move back just yet.
Well, Mayor Hogg said reminds Hoosiers to continue wearing masks and taking safety precautions. He also explained the county's plans for Halloween, and we have more on that coming up in our next half hour. Raphael.
Lauren, with thousands of Hoosiers behind on their rent because of this pandemic, here is the ripple effect. Some property managers and landlords are also behind on their mortgages. Remax Realty Services manages about 50 properties for homeowners. Owner Chris Shuloff says since the CDC issued a national moratorium on evictions last month, some tenants have just stopped paying rent. Shuloff says he's compassionate with renters and works with them, but the situation is also hurting homeowners and property owners.
Keep coming to us saying you've got to get that rent collected, and we're going back to them saying because of the moratorium our hands are tied. All of a sudden we're going to have foreclosures out there, and that's what I'm concerned about.
The Indiana Apartment Association is calling on the government to take more action, possibly by offering loans to landlords. There is no relief. They fear landlords will be forced to foreclose on their properties.
So nationally, the number of people filing for new unemployment benefits is still historically high. It rose last week to 898,000. This comes as the number of people experiencing long-term employment is growing as well. The number of people out of work for more than 27 weeks is now at 2.4 million, according to the latest data from the Labor Department. LinkedIn's career expert recommends if you're taking on a side hustle to pay bills, try to look for something that goes with your long-term career goals.
When it comes to explaining a career gap on your resume, really talk to the recruiter and showcase what you've done in that time to make sure that you're more marketable. Whether it be taking a course or networking with your contacts, you want to really show that you use the time wisely.
Something else that may help you get noticed right now is adding the Open to Work feature on your LinkedIn profile. LinkedIn has found 40% of people who include that message get more calls and emails from recruiters.
Hiring Hoosiers is our commitment here at WRTV. So if you're looking for a job and you're looking for something seasonal, the Postal Service is hiring Hoosiers. A drive-through job fair will be held tomorrow from 10 to noon at the post office on West South Street in downtown Indianapolis. Available positions include automotive technicians, city carrier assistants, rural carrier associates, and mail processing clerks. And Macy's is holding a national hiring event 1 week from today. The company says it's hiring more than 380 seasonal employees in Indiana for the holiday season. As a safety precaution, Macy's says they will conduct all of those interviews for in-store opportunities by phone. You're encouraged to apply online, and of course, you can find more information about all of these opportunities and more on our website, of course, at hiringhoosiers.com.
Well, a Hamilton County woman created something several years ago to help hospital patients. This morning, WRTV's own Kelsey Anderson joins us now. How amid this pandemic, her invention could help anyone, anywhere. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, good morning. So hand washing has been a big thing, especially since the pandemic started. But for some people, they don't have a sink or they don't have running water. And that's why a fisherwoman created this portable hand washing station. Angie Washburn created the Portaire in 2017 after a family member contracted the healthcare-acquired infection C. diff while in the hospital. She says for some patients, washing their hands isn't always an option. So she used the passion from her personal experience to create something that she hopes will save lives.
Nothing like that exists. Patients have had trouble in the past getting out of their hospital beds to get to the sink. And we started this mission because of healthcare-acquired infections and the patient need, but then COVID came about, and so we know hand washing is very important. And so this is a way for people to have a kit at their bedside, and they can wash with soap and water on their own or with assistance.
She says since COVID began, they have had more interest from people outside of the healthcare profession. From mothers who may have to change a dirty diaper in the car, to farmers and even delivery drivers. This tool gives them a way to have good hand hygiene on the road.
On top like that.
So believe it or not, this entire kit fits in this bag and it's very simple to use. You just pour water in the top and it strains out very slowly. And it actually comes with these little soaps, which are so cute, I think. And you just place your hands under there and it goes slow. You wash your hands, dry it out, and then once you're done, you can just toss the bag and throw it in the trash. I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
All right, Kelsey, very creative there. Thank you so much. The time right now is 5:10. The Indy Black Chamber of Commerce is working to support business owners during the pandemic as they open new co-working space here downtown. It's called Chamber 465 and it's located along Market Street. Well, it has all the tools business owners need like Wi-Fi, printers, networking opportunities. The Indy Black Chamber will also host classes and workshops there. There are sanitizing stations and partitions between the workspaces to help keep people safe.
This is an opportunity for all minority businesses, all businesses period, to come together to find the resources that they need and the support that they need. Especially during COVID, we're losing so many businesses. They need our support.
Well, the Indy Black Chamber is offering these workstations to business owners for free until the end of the year. If they like it and they want to continue using it, it'll be $185 a month starting in the year 2021. All right, let's get a check of our forecast right now. And Todd, we know we had rain move through the area. I don't remember driving in rain for a long time, but on the way home from the noon show, I did.
I know, the windshield wipers are like, what's going on here? This is the best workout I've had since probably this day, August the 8th. And that was a day we had a line of thunderstorms sweep across central Indiana. So it was an extremely dry stretch of weather. But yesterday, just under 2/10 of an inch of rain officially fell at the airport in Indianapolis. And that broke our streak of consecutive days below 1/10 of an inch of rain at 57. Today, it's a sun-filled day. The big issue as you walk out the door on this Friday morning, the temperatures all the way down right now to 34 degrees. In many areas, even colder than that. So 34 is kind of an average as the kids head off to school. So definitely need to bundle up as the kids come home from school. Plenty of sunshine and temperatures will eventually rebound into the upper 50s. That is still below normal. More on your weekend forecast for you coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thank you. Without a second debate, President Trump and Joe Biden holding competing town halls. Coming up, their message to any undecided voters.
And a new warning for pregnant women about pain relievers. The dangers the FDA says can come from Tylenol, Aleve, and much more. You're watching Good Morning Indiana on this Friday, October the 16th on WRTV.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. It is 5:15. Raphael, with just 18 days until Election Day, President Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden are facing questions from some undecided voters in competing town halls last night.
And Lauren, both candidates were pressed on the rising pandemic cases across the country. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze has the latest from Washington.
In dueling town hall events, the presidential candidates offering starkly different views on the defining issue of the election, the coronavirus pandemic.
We're in a situation where we have 210,000+ people dead. And what's he doing? Nothing.
We have done an amazing job, and it's rounding the corner, and we have the vaccines coming.
President Trump saying in the NBC News town hall he can't remember if he was tested for coronavirus on the day of the first presidential debate. He tested positive 2 days later.
You don't know if you took a test the day of the debate?
Possibly I did, possibly I didn't. But
the president not denying a New York Times report that he's $400 million in debt.
$400 million compared to the assets that I have, all of these great properties all over the world.
Are you confirming that, yes, you do owe some $400 million?
What I'm saying is that it's a tiny percentage of my net worth.
Trump also chose not to condemn the far-right conspiracy theory QAnon.
I know nothing about QAnon.
I just told you.
I know very little. You told me, but what you tell me doesn't necessarily make it fact. I do know they are very much against pedophilia. They fight it very hard.
Even though he has retweeted baseless claims made by QAnon supporters. As the president forcefully defended his personal record to voters in Miami, Joe Biden in Philadelphia for the ABC News town hall tried to present a pragmatic approach to his own policies. Biden leaving the door open to eventually increasing the number of justices on the Supreme Court.
Well, I'm not a fan. I then say it depends on how this turns out.
But don't voters have a right to know where you stand?
They do have a right to know where they stand, and they'll have a right to know where I stand before they vote.
So you'll come out with a clear position before Election Day?
Yes, depending on how they handle this.
Voters are supposed to get one more chance to see Trump and Biden debate together next Thursday in Nashville. Elizabeth Schulze, ABC News, Washington.
The time now is 5:17. An Indiana woman wrongfully convicted of murder and arson will be now paid by the state after she spent 17 years in prison. Kristen Bunch was imprisoned for a fire that killed her 3-year-old son. The Indiana Criminal Justice Institute's Board of Trustees declared that she is not eligible for compensation. That ruling came down on Thursday. She will be paid $50,000 for every year she was in prison. Bunch's conviction was overturned in 2012 after lawyers argued that arson evidence from the 1995 fire was wrong and that key documents had been withheld from her defense.
A 14th person is now facing charges in a plot to kidnap Michigan's governor. 51-year-old Brian Higgins from Wisconsin Dells in Wisconsin has been charged with material support for an act of terrorism. The FBI says the group of men planned to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer from her vacation home and take her to a boat to Wisconsin. The suspects reportedly hoped the kidnapping would instigate a civil war. Higgins could face up to 20 years in jail if he's convicted of this felony.
Twitter is back up and running. Are you happy this morning? Because I'm happy this morning after a widespread outage. Many users were unable to access their accounts last night around 6 o'clock. The social network says the issue was caused by a change that it made to its internal systems. Twitter, Facebook, and other social media platforms are under increased pressure right now to protect user accounts ahead of the election. If you head outside right now, you're going to be confronted with a cool morning. Look, Todd, I think it's going to get colder, obviously, so when I walked out this morning, I wasn't too surprised, but you were on point. It is colder out there.
Yeah, you know, it's the coldest morning we have seen in quite some time here in many places as we've dipped below freezing now in places like Terre Haute as well as Peru, and I'll show you those temperatures in just a second. So it's definitely a frosty start with these freeze warnings that are posted across the area. But the good news is we'll have plenty of sunshine throughout the day today, and while the temperatures remain cool and below normal, the sunshine and the light winds will definitely help things if you are going to be out and about later on today. But here are those temperatures, and we have this little pocket below freezing temperatures now from Greencastle to Terre Haute at 30 degrees. Peru is at 31 degrees. And then as you work your way to the east, temperatures running a little bit warmer and still cold, though, obviously at 34 in Richmond. But these temperatures should continue to fall another couple degrees here before we start to see them climb once the sun comes up, because we're still clearing the skies out. So I think these are temperatures for the city, down about 33 degrees here in Indy before we start to climb. So I do think some locations will drop down into the 20s here this morning before the sun comes up. But once the sun does come up, look at the temperatures, how they respond. We're back up into near 50 degrees already by the time we get to the noon hour. The clouds are continuing to move out, just lingering here in far southeastern portions of Indiana, and that is just about it. So once the sun comes up, we will have mostly sunny skies all across the area. And as far as going forward throughout the day, there's one little band of rain that is going to try to sneak in here in northern locations later on this afternoon. So from Lafayette to Kokomo and points to the north, I can't rule out the chance of a quick passing sprinkle for you this afternoon, but the bulk of that precipitation should be to our north in Michigan. Otherwise, look for a mainly clear sky. If you're heading to high school football this evening, it's definitely going to feel more like football weather compared to last week. Temperatures here will be falling into the 40s, so have the jacket, and if you're in the bleachers, maybe you want to have a blanket to put on your lap there to help keep you warm, or wrap it around you. Tomorrow morning, temperatures back below freezing in some locations. Probably going to run a degree or two warmer tomorrow, but still cold enough for the National Weather Service to have a freeze warning in place. And then throughout your Saturday, temperatures will be climbing back into the mid-60s. It gets close to seasonable levels with partly cloudy skies. Saturday will be a dry day for us as we go into Sunday. Most of Sunday's dry with just increase in cloud cover up to 63 degrees. The more better chance of rain, is going to be on Monday. That's when scattered showers move in, and then a warming trend next week as temperatures, Lauren, will get back up into the low 70s.
All right, Todd, thanks. Let's take a look right now at traffic as you're heading out on the roads this Friday morning. You can see a live look here in the downtown area. I-65, a view from St. Clair Street between the north and south splits where everything is quiet. No crashes to report around the metro area at this early hour. Of course, we'll keep an eye on things and keep you updated. Raphael?
So, Lauren, this morning we have a health alert. The FDA now expanding a warning to pregnant women involving over-the-counter pain relievers. The agency says that women in the last 4 months of pregnancy should avoid medicines like Advil, Aleve, and anything similar. It can lead to some rare but serious complications for a fetus. The FDA cites kidney problems and low levels of amniotic fluid, which allows a fetus to move in the womb. The previous warning was for women in the last 3 months months of pregnancy. Regulators are now expanding it to 4 months after 35 cases of amniotic fluid problems. You're watching Good Morning Indiana on this Friday here on WRTV.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. So, Raphael, we all know that you're not supposed to play with your food, but this might be one reasonable exception, yeah.
So, Kraft Heinz created a game inspired by, get this now, Lauren, some good foods, Jell-O, macaroni and cheese, yes, and ketchup, but not all together, right? These are games. Yeah. Each game includes cards and dice that are packaged just like the food. They're designed to take about 20 minutes each and are for kids 8 and up, which is right in line for me and Todd to play. There's an easy way to get a head start in each game as well. The player who most recently ate Jell-O or mac and cheese or used ketchup goes first according to the rules. The pack costs $19.99 and is only available at Target. So Todd, finally a game that you and I can play. It's right in our age range, 8 and above.
Perfect. I love it.
Nice and simple.
Go to Target, pick it up, and there we go. All right, outside right now, we're dealing with very cold air. In fact, it's the coldest morning we've seen in quite a while. Freeze warnings are posted across the area. We're going to hover just above freezing in the metro area this morning, but outlying areas already below freezing. But the good news is it's a sun-filled day for us. We'll warm very quickly by the noon hour up to 52 degrees. And then as we progress into the afternoon hours, high temperatures today will be topping off in the mid-50s. I know that's below normal, but with the sunshine and the light winds, will not feel all that bad out there if you are going to be out and about. We'll talk more about your weekend coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on WRTV.
Well, grab the scarf and the coat as you head out the door today because it is cold out there. Will you be able to ditch the coat later today? Todd is breaking down the temperatures in your hour-by-hour forecast.
New COVID-19 numbers in Marion County are lower than some areas of our state. This morning, the message from county leaders about when we could see those restrictions ease, possibly.
Plus, parents with students doing e-learning will have a little bit more help. Working for you, details on a plan to keep community learning centers up and running through the end of the year. Good Morning Indiana continues right now at 5:30.
From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
And we want to thank you for joining our team here on Good Morning Indiana to kick off your Friday. We finally made it through the work week. Raphael, good morning to you.
Lauren, good morning to you. You know, Mrs. Sanchez is pretty lucky. Her car is parked in the garage right now. Mine is outside. So I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm kind of happy that I get to stay in the living room this morning. Otherwise, I would have to spend a good 10 minutes warming up my my good old Dodge.
Yeah, you know, there is some frost that's going to be out there. So, of course, if you do have frost on your windshield, make sure you get rid of that frost before you start driving. Don't try to do the little peephole thing with the frost as we kind of get into the frost season with these chilly temperatures that'll be heading our way. Today is the coldest day we have seen in a while as far as morning lows go. We're still just above freezing in Indy at 35, 33 in Lafayette. The skies are clear no matter where you go, and some temperatures, though, are below freezing this morning. 30 from Terre Haute to Greencastle. 31 is the current temperature in Peru, and Richmond sitting at 34 degrees. The clouds have cleared out, and then soon as those clouds departed the area, that's when the temperatures really started to drop off here this morning. And with sunrise not until just before 8 o'clock, we are going to see our temperatures probably drop off another couple degrees here when the new update comes in at the top of the hour. There's the culprit, the cold front that brought us that nice needed rainfall yesterday, but it has ushered in these cooler temperatures. The good news is it's a sun-filled day for us today. We warmed to 52 degrees by the noon hour. High temperatures today in the mid to upper 50s, which is a little bit below normal, but with light winds, Lauren, should be pretty pleasant out there if you're going to be out and about this afternoon.
All right, Todd, good to know. Thank you. Let's take a look at traffic. If you are heading out the door early this morning, heading over here to the southwest side where traffic's traveling up to speed, I-465 of you near Man Road. We'll continue to keep a close eye on your interstates and your side streets as you're heading out there to start your Friday. No problems to report at this early hour. Raphael?
Good morning to Lebanon, Frankfort, and Franklin, Indiana, now facing an increase in the number of coronavirus cases. The State Health Department reporting 1,962 new cases of the virus on Thursday. That is the highest daily total reported since the outbreak began back in March. As you can see, every day for the past week, more than 1,000 cases have been reported in our state. As of this morning, 141,212 Hoosiers have tested positive for COVID-19. The state's 7-day positivity rate also continues to increase. It is now at 5.7%. Now, taking a look at the number of Hoosiers who've lost their lives during this pandemic, the State Health Department reports 23 newly confirmed deaths. So far, more than 3,600 Hoosiers have died with the virus. So let's talk about your health, because this morning, health officials continue to encourage you to get tested for COVID-19 if you need the test. Anyone who lives or works in Indiana can get tested for free. Register by going to lhi.care/COVID testing or by calling 888-634-1116.
Well, back here at home, Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett says current coronavirus restrictions will stay in place for now. He joined Marion County Public Health Department Director Dr. Virginia Kane to give an update on where we are now in regards to the pandemic. City leaders say, though the cases and hospitalizations are slowly creeping up, they hope tighter restrictions are not required. And as we get closer to Halloween, Mayor Hogsett and Dr. Kane are again discouraging trick-or-treating.
I know that missing out on trick-or-treating and Halloween get-togethers is just another disappointment in a year full of disappointments. But please keep this in mind. These are precautions that you can take to protect your health, the health of your family, and the health of your neighbors, and ultimately the overall health and well-being of our community. And I would suggest that that is worth more than a party or a bag of candy.
Well, because the Marion County Health Department is discouraging trick-or-treating, there will not be any set hours for those participating in any safe activities.
So let's talk money this morning. More funding for a program meant to help with e-learning and childcare during this pandemic. An additional $88,000 will go toward community learning centers created by the organization The Mind Trust. The money will allow 3 sites to continue serving students all the way through now December the 17th. The centers are a safe, free option for students who may not have reliable internet access at home or whose parents may not be able to stay home during the school hours.
Well, the coronavirus crisis appears to be entering a dangerous new phase with cases across the country surging. ABC's Mona Kosar-Abdi has the latest.
This morning, a new warning about a third peak in coronavirus cases as more cities report a record number of hospitalizations.
This is an unprecedented amount of new cases, which require immediate action in order to slow the spread.
Infections are up nearly 20% across the country. Not a single state is still in the green safe zone, according to the White House task force. And now the CDC predicts the U.S. death toll could reach 240,000 by early next month.
We've got to get down to the fundamental public health measures. The reason we're going up is that we haven't done that consistently.
One of President Trump's closest allies now speaking out. Former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie revealing he spent 7 days in the ICU with the virus. Writing, quote, "I was wrong not to wear a mask at my multiple debate prep sessions with the president and the rest of the team." Adding, quote, "Every public official, regardless of party or position, should advocate for every American to wear a mask in public, appropriately social distance, and to wash your hands frequently every day." Wisconsin breaking another record for new infections, the second time this week.
We're at a critical point.
A makeshift hospital at the state fairgrounds now taking overflow patients.
This is becoming life and death for folks in the state of Wisconsin.
Ohio facing a similar surge in cases.
This is the worst situation Ohio has been in.
Parts of Texas and New Mexico facing a shortage of hospital beds.
We ran out of space in every way that you can imagine.
But in Hawaii, officials are lifting restrictions for tourists. The state now allowing visitors to skip the 14-day quarantine if they can prove they've tested negative within 72 hours of landing. Mona Kosar-Abdi, ABC News, New York.
A Hamilton County woman, she had an idea which led now to an invention which of course can help you stay healthy. WRTV's Kelsey Anderson is live with a product that has a great purpose. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Raphael. So I've got a question for you. What is some of the things that the CDC and other health officials have recommended we do since March, since this pandemic began?
Well, this is an easy one. Am I going to get extra for this? There's, of course, wear your mask.
Extra credit if you get it right.
So wear your mask, of course, social distancing, which is why I'm working out of my living room. And, of course, always wash your hands like a gazillion times.
Yeah, that's right. And so for some people, we don't even realize it, but washing their hands is not something that comes easy, whether they be on bed rest in the hospital or even in their own home, or maybe a delivery driver or even a new mom trying to change her child's diaper in the back of a car. So that's why a Fisherswoman created this, a portable hand washing station.
It's personal. It's a personal mission just to save lives.
Angie Washburn created the Portaire, a portable hand washing station in 2017. The respiratory care practitioner became passionate about patient hand hygiene when a family member died after contracting a healthcare acquired infection.
These are infections that can be acquired when you're in the hospital and then complicate things for you. So it's additional illnesses.
She tells me some infections cannot be addressed with hand sanitizer alone.
You hear staff should wash their hands, but we don't hear a lot about patient hands. And so we're starting to look at patient hands as being those transmitters of disease and illness.
The device created to help patients wash their hands is now something a lot of people could utilize amid the pandemic.
So we're noticing a huge interest for those that serve the homeless population, for them to be able to have a way to wash their hands. Agriculture, we've started discussions with some of those. We've got farm workers who don't have a way to wash their hands when they're out harvesting by hand. And then healthcare, both home care, acute care, and those facilities.
She says now more than ever, we know the importance of hand hygiene, and this small kit can travel anywhere.
We're just on a mission to try to help people wash their hands on a regular basis and stay healthy.
So this entire kit fits just all in this bag. It comes with 2 of these bags that you can throw away, but you can also just use a regular grocery sack. It comes with these little paper soaps, which I think are absolutely adorable. And then all of a sudden, all you have to do is just toss this bag once you wash your hands and start over the next time. So for more information on this Portaire, you can head over to the WRTV News app. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
All right, and speaking of hands, you may want the gloves as you walk out the door this morning as temperatures are below freezing in some locations, especially if you're going to be out for an extended period of time. 30 in Greencastle and Terre Haute right now, 31 in Peru. Freeze warnings are posted across the entire area for the next couple hours, and then another freeze warning will go into effect for tomorrow as well. With that said, it's going to be a beautiful afternoon for us. A little bit below normal temperature-wise, but with the sunshine and the light winds, it'll feel fairly pleasant. 60 in Rockville as well as Bloomington today, 57 in Noblesville, 58 the high temperature in Muncie. Our normal high this time of year is 65 degrees, and you can see not only today when we stay just below 60 degrees, but even through the weekend we'll get a little bit closer to that average high for Saturday and Sunday, but then we cool off again Monday and Tuesday, and that's because another cold front heads our way with a rain opportunity. We'll talk about your extended forecast in more detail in Maine weather in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you so much. An Indiana grandfather pleads guilty to his granddaughter's death aboard a cruise ship, coming up while he will likely avoid jail time. And that story and much more right here on WRTV. Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. This morning, a Minnesota judge has ruled a video of a 2019 interaction between George Floyd and Minneapolis police officers can be viewed by the public. The ruling is in response to a motion filed by the attorney for Thomas Lane, one of the men facing charges in relation to Floyd's death. The body cam footage from 2019 shows Floyd crying as he's being arrested and put in the back of a squad car. In court documents, Lane's attorney says Floyd's behavior in 2019 is almost exact replica of how he acted during his arrest back in May of this year. That's according to that attorney. He also argues that the video shows Floyd has a pattern of not obeying law enforcement.
And I believe what you'll see is the same conduct a year ago that occurred on May 25th of 2020. When you see and hear the video on May 25th, he says, "Mama, I don't know what's going on. Help me. I'm claustrophobic." What else does he say? All of those statements he made a year before that in the arrest of him on May 6th.
Prosecutors, they argued against the release of that video, saying that it would unfairly sway public opinion and add to the pressure to move the trial outside of Minneapolis. They also note that public court records do not show any charges filed against Floyd in the May 2019 arrest.
Well, the Indiana grandfather accused of dropping his granddaughter out of a cruise ship window last summer has pleaded guilty to negligent homicide charges. Salvatore Nello of Valparaiso was charged by Puerto Rican authorities in the death of his 18-month-old granddaughter, Chloe Wiegand. The family was on a Royal Caribbean cruise ship when Chloe fell from his arms out of an open window. And Nello said he didn't know the window was open. Initially, he pleaded not guilty, but earlier this year, he pleaded guilty, saying he wanted to end this nightmare for his family. He's not expected to serve any jail time, and his probation will be served in Indiana. He'll be sentenced in December.
Lauren, football fields will remain dark tonight at some central Indiana high school stadiums. This after reports of positive COVID-19 tests. Franklin Community High School here in Johnson County announced that its varsity football game against Decatur Central has been canceled tonight. The freshman game at Decatur is still scheduled to go as planned tomorrow. Also, tonight's game between Hamilton Southeastern and Brownsburg, that as well has been canceled. In a tweet, Brownsburg said they're looking for an alternate opponent to play in that game.
New this morning, the Trump administration has denied California's request for disaster relief to help with the losses from recent wildfires. The state asked for a major presidential disaster declaration in early September. It would have provided money to help pay for damage caused by 6 of those fires. One of the fires was the Creek Fire, which is the largest wildfire in California state history. The Creek Fire burned more than 340,000 acres in Fresno and Madera counties. The state plans to appeal the rejection for financial aid. Back here at home, let's get a check of our forecast, and we have a pretty big temperature change from this time yesterday morning.
You know, yesterday before the cold front arrived, Lauren, we were talking about how mild it was during the morning hours when we were in the 60s. And look at this, running 30 degrees colder in Lafayette right now, 32 degrees colder, and then 24 hours ago in Lafayette. So where does that put us? Well, it puts us in the 30s in many locations, and a freeze warning remains in effect this morning until we get to about 9 o'clock. At that point, the sun will be high enough to start to warm the temperatures. But another freeze warning will go into effect tonight into tomorrow. So this is a 2-day deal with these temperatures that'll be near freezing during the morning hours. Here are those current temperatures that are out there. No 20s yet, but I'm expecting when the new update comes in just about 10 minutes at the top of the hour, we will see some 20s out there. 30 in Greencastle, 31 in Peru, 34 is the current temperature in Greenfield, the city, running just a little bit warmer as usual with a temperature of 35 degrees. You see exactly where the cold front is, and then you turn your attention off to the west, and temperatures are fairly similar to what we're seeing here in central Indiana. But with a westerly wind today and a cooler pool of air still off to our west, we're just not going to warm a whole lot as the day goes on, despite a lot of sunshine. So we'll see our temperatures climb eventually through the 30s pretty quickly. We'll get that initial burst of warmth once the sun comes up, and then we'll kind of just plateau throughout the afternoon hours with highs that'll top off right around 57 to 58 degrees with mostly sunny skies throughout most of the day. There's one little exception, and that is going to be in northern locations. While you're quiet this morning, there's this little band of rain and snow here off to our west, and some of the models want to indicate it bringing just a hit or miss shower north of Lafayette and Peru later on this afternoon. Not a big deal, but if you're traveling that way maybe for the weekend and you're going to the north, I just want you to be aware that there could be a sprinkle. But yesterday's rainfall brought an end to our stretch of days in a row with less than a 1/10 of an inch of rain. We topped that off at 57 days. Hopefully we don't go that long without rain ever again. That's a record that we really don't want to talk about or deal with. And here is that rain chance that I mentioned. It's just a brief sprinkle that scoots in here later on this evening, and nothing that's going to hamper any high school football games in northern locations if you're heading to those. Overall, we're quiet with partly cloudy skies this evening and temperatures that'll eventually fall into the 40s. Tomorrow morning, more of the same temperatures at or just below freezing in many locations. And then throughout the day tomorrow, though, we will see lots of sunshine once again. Tomorrow is the warmest day of the weekend as we climb into the mid-60s. And then as we look ahead to the rest of your 7-day planning forecast, Sunday's mainly dry. There's some showers late in the day, but Monday's the better chance of showers with a high of 60 degrees. Then as we get into next week, a bit of a warming trend as highs climb back up into the mid-70s. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look at traffic right now as you're heading out on the roads. Good morning to you up here in Madison County. Let's take a live look at I-69. This is a view near State Road 38. We don't have any problems on the roads. You can see both northbound and southbound traffic is picking up and traveling up to speed. So whether you're in areas like Pendleton, Anderson, LaPel, and you're heading towards Indianapolis, or maybe you're heading up towards Fort Wayne, you shouldn't have any problems using I-69 at this early hour. Raphael?
This may be on your Facebook feed or maybe your Twitter feed. A consumer alert this morning. If you shop at Barnes & Noble, the bookstore suffered, it tells us, a massive cybersecurity attack. That means your personal information, including your email addresses and other personal details, could have been exposed. Barnes says that financial information was not exposed, but transaction histories may have been. Transaction history refers to purchase information related to books and other products bought from the company. Affected customers were notified via email on Monday. Starbucks is continuing to put a focus on diversity. So starting next year, the company will begin linking executive pay within its ranks to diversity targets. The coffee giant hopes that tying pay to inclusion initiatives will increase diversity within its ranks. Starbucks did not give specifics on how exactly executive pay will be impacted, but it did lay out diversity goals. Those include having 30% Black, Indigenous, and people of color employees at the corporate level by the year 2025. And in retail and manufacturing, the goal is 40% within that same time frame.
Well, Love Noodles coming up, the job posting just for you and the sweet perks that this job comes with. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back, and attention ramen lovers. Top Ramen is looking for a chief noodle officer. Raphael,
Have you ever had ramen noodles?
No. I know, isn't that embarrassing?
I didn't think so.
No,
that's about right. Let me keep reading. So this job comes with some pretty sweet perks. The lucky hirer will get paid $10,000 to develop and test out new ramen noodle soup recipes, plus a 50-year supply of Top Ramen products. Now, to apply, post a picture and a recipe of your own Top Ramen creation to social media using the hashtag #HowToDoTopRamen. Now, you have to act fast. Submissions are only being accepted through October the 30th. And I figured that Lauren Casey did not eat ramen noodles because you're so healthy.
Oh,
you eat a lot of green stuff, right?
No, I mean, I definitely did the Easy Mac a lot at college, but something about ramen and the way it comes out in one chunk just does never look appetizing to me. I don't know, maybe it's pretty good. I'll have to try it.
Hey, Raphael, you remember how you're always offering to take us to lunch?
Here's a cheap option.
So there's a new ramen place that's going to be opening in Indy pretty soon, and so I figured out where you can take Lauren and I for lunch now. So
you got it.
We'll
all in.
You'll take us for lunch, and Lauren can have ramen for the first time.
There we go.
And she won't even see it come out in that one chunk.
Yeah,
so
I just want it to be ready.
We'll be in good shape. All right, here it is, 28, the lowest temperature in Logansport this morning, 31 in Bloomington, 30 in Lafayette. Freeze warnings posted. Despite the very cold start, it turns into a pleasant afternoon, 58 degrees with mostly sunny skies. We'll break down your forecast in more detail for you coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues in just a few minutes.